Hi, it's Rory from counsellingtutor.com, and in this video presentation I'm going to discuss the current BACP ethical framework. As some of you may know, the framework changed in 2012 and the last of the recommendations were implemented in 2013. So I thought I'd bring an up-to-date presentation on the framework, and also just to remind everyone that the framework is at the moment being reassessed by the BACP. So it may very well be that this video doesn't really last long on the channel, and I present a new video when the BACP framework's updated, which may be sometime this year. But as of the time the video is made, this is the current framework, and I hope to have answered some of the questions that get asked in assignments regarding why the framework's important and the structure of the framework. So without further ado, we're going to have a look at the ethical framework now. I've called this presentation BACP Ethical Framework Revisited, and as of today, which is the 6th of September 2014, the 2013 revision of the ethical framework is the current one. If you download it today, you'll find that it's 2013. It is going to be changed in the near future, and when it is, I'll make another video. So why do we have an ethical code? That's a question that gets asked a lot in assignments. So let's just have an overview. I'll try and do an outline or an overview of why we have an ethical code. Well, it provides a common set of beliefs, a bit like a mission statement for therapy and therapists, but more really a common set of values that therapists who join the BACP should aspire to. It sets standards of care and behaviour, so it asks us to work professionally and gives us guidance on how to do that, and it sets standards, one of those being that we seek regular supervision. It offers reassurance to the general public. General public want to know that any professional, be they a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist, have an ethical body that they can speak to if they feel that they're not being given the best possible service. So that's the reassurance, and that means that clients are more likely to engage in therapy because they know that should it go wrong, there's an opportunity to get some kind of redress, to make a complaint, which really brings me to my next point: gives redress to a complaints procedure. The BACP does have a complaints procedure, and if a complaint is made and it's considered serious enough, then therapists are asked to sit in front of a committee of their peers and explain their actions. And if their actions are considered unethical or against the principles of the framework, then they're held to account. It protects practitioners. It's a two-way street. It may be that somebody makes a vindictive and unfounded complaint, and if a practitioner can prove that they have acted ethically and acted within the ethical framework, then that's their protection. So it is a two-way street. Reflects counsellor as a profession. All professions have a code of ethics. If you're a dentist, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, all of them have professional ethics or professional standards. Police officers, professional standards. So it reflects counselling as a profession. And also it raises the quality of practice. If you've got expectations, an organisation asks you to do certain things, by default the quality of the service will rise, because people are held accountable and therefore more likely to comply with doing the right thing. And that's things like supervision, making sure that you're adequately trained, making sure that you're in a position both mentally and emotionally to work with clients. So the key features of the framework, well, there's two features: there's the ethics for counselling and psychotherapy, and guidance for good practice in counselling and psychotherapy. And I'm going to go through those two headings and just kind of discuss a little bit about what they mean and how they work. So ethics for counselling and psychotherapy, Well, the first is values of counselling and psychotherapy, and we've covered that really. I've talked about the mission statement, or the set of values that counsellors adhere to and work with. They say, yes, I'm a member of the BACP, and I will abide by those ethical principles. The ethical principles, it outlines what they are. So it tells you the ethical principles, and I'm not going to tell you what they are in this video, but I'll post a link to the ethical framework so you can look yourself. But it tells you what those principles are, it outlines them, so there's no misunderstanding what these ethical principles are. And personal moral qualities. Now, the frameworks ask us to aspire to do the right thing. That's what this is about, really, doing the right thing. And it recognises, by using the word aspire, that we're human and sometimes we don't have our best days, but we should aspire to be good people and do the right thing. The second part of the framework is guidance for good practice in counselling and psychotherapy. The first part is providing a good standard of practice and care. So it gives us guidance on things like supervision, training, working in a multidisciplinary team, the amount of hours the therapist should work, all about providing a good standard of practice and care. So we're offering a very high standard to our clients, and it's consistent no matter if you go to Newcastle upon Tyne or Cornwall to see a therapist. If they're working under the ethical framework, then the standard of care should be equally as good no matter where you go. Working with colleagues. Well, we do work with colleagues. I mean, counselling is a solitary practice, but we work with supervisors, with trainers, referrers. We might work with organisations. So it gives guidance on how to work with colleagues and what's expected, the behaviour expected of when working with colleagues. We might disagree with colleagues. We might not see eye to eye, but it asks us to deal with that professionally and find the common ground and work it through. And that's an expectation that we do that. We work professionally with our colleagues. Probity in professional practice. Probity is about being honest. And I guess that might be things like making sure that if you've got paying clients, you're not keeping them on because it's earning you a living, or not turning up for appointments, or just finishing clients and not telling them to finish. That happens a lot. In fact, one of the biggest areas of complaint in counselling and psychotherapy I read recently was clients who felt that they'd not had a proper ending, that the counsellor had just arbitrarily finished the sessions and the client didn't know why. So that's probity, being honest, doing the right thing. And care of self as a practitioner. The work we do engages us with quite difficult emotions, and it can, counsellors can suffer burnout, or where they just cannot work with clients anymore. They need to take care of themselves first, or case hardening, where sometimes counsellors see the clients as just what the problem is. Oh, it's another divorce. Oh, it's another bereavement. Oh, well, I've got a client who's gay. Of course they're going to be upset because they're gay. That type of insensitivity and case hardened attitude. And it asks us to take care of ourselves. And sometimes our colleagues have to help us with that and say, are you all right? You need to take care of yourself. And so it also validates us as people. It also says that we're worth it too. Little food for thought. This is a climbing frame, and it's a framework. And if you look at this framework, you see that there's two children using it. One's inside the framework and he's well supported. You can see that her feet are on one of the bars and she's holding on to another. But there's someone working outside the framework, another child's outside the framework. And if that child were to let go, she would fall. And that's what frameworks are. They're a set of internal structures which stops us falling too far. They're checks and balances. So if you think of the child who's hanging off the frame inside being a bit higher, even if she slipped, she'd probably come to rest on the next set of bars. The child on the outside, if they let go, would always fall. So that's about working within a framework. And that's kind of a visual idea of what a framework looks like. So we can't fall too far, so we can't slip too far in our practices. Finally, the BACP are currently rewriting the ethical framework. So if you're a member of the BACP, check your email bulletins and announcements in therapy today. Well, I hope you found that presentation useful. If you click on the link on this little teacup that's just above my finger, it will take you to a blog post at counsellingtutor.com where I've outlined the proposals for the new ethical framework, as well as providing a link to the BACP website where you can download the current framework. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and why not put your comments in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you, and as always, thank you for watching.